time to tune in. Now another Sports Center, it's a movement.
Some other stuff on what's currently going on with Andy Dalton in Chicago. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, and I know Sue probably has something to kick in on this as well. But Andy Dalton and Justin Fields.
We'll open up the floor.
Yeah. All reports, man, that I've been seeing is Justin Fields absolutely lit it up. Justin Fields lit it up. Andy Dalton. You know, he did what Andy Dalton. And I heard about he's picking up the offense well, but it's a little bit inconsistent play. But everything I've heard and seen, the little film we have got to see, Justin Fields absolutely lit it up, is what everybody was saying. So I think Matt Nagy is going to go into the season with Andy Dalton as a starter, like he said he's going to. But very quickly, within the first few weeks, Justin Fields is going to be on the field if Nagy wants to keep his job. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. But everybody said he sounded good. I'm definitely looking forward to training camp to kind of see how that finishes out. But from everything we read and the videos we saw, Justin Fields absolutely lit it up.
I don't know, man. I get sick and tired of hearing this training camp crap about rookies lighting it up in training camp, people doing flashes. It's training camp for a reason. We're not really going to know how they perform until they start performing against other teams that want to beat the hell out of them, not your own guys. It's good that he knows how to throw a football. I would hope so. He had a pretty successful college career doing that, so I hope he knows how to do that by the time he gets to the NFL. Somebody drafted him for a reason. But we see it all the time. These kids, studs in training camp. Oh, they're impressing the coaches. I said, yeah, I bet you are impressing Matt Nagy when Andy Dalton and Nick Foles is on the roster. I bet you are impressive. I'm kind of confused as to why Nagy is going to stick with Dalton as a starter. I get it that they didn't trade up to get Justin Fields, but I mean, if that's your guy, put him out there, man. Put him out there. He's going to have a great test week 1 against my Rams. And maybe that's a reason he doesn't want to do it, because it's like Aaron Donald going to be healthy, going to get busy. Leonard Floyd going to get busy. You know, we got Jalen Ramsey and stuff out there, and maybe you just don't want to throw your young guy out there in the deep end. But for me, if that's my premier guy, I just suffered through what, 4 or 5 years of Mitch Trubisky? Nah, give me Justin Fields, bro. I had enough.
If you can't say amen, say ouch.
And you're 100% right though. Like, we hear about rookies and stuff lighting up in training camp all the time, but I think when your team is starving for a quarterback, like Mitch Trubisky, there wasn't reports he was lighting it up. The reports when he was a rookie was he's confused, processing slow, was having trouble picking up the offense. So I just think in Matt Nagy's offense, I think that is something to be said. But again, you're right. He's competing against Nick Foles and, you know, Andy Dalton. So it's not like he has this. It's not like he's competing with like Aaron Rodgers for a starting job or something. But I think, man, if I was him, I would just toss him to the fire, man. Like, I think he's going to be one of, if not the best quarterbacks out of this draft. So I just think that get him in sync with Allen Robinson as quickly as possible, and maybe Allen Robinson will be willing to stay next year.
I mean, Justin Fields, you got Mike Williams in your corner. He believes in you. It's not that I don't believe in you personally. I just don't believe in quarterbacks that come out of Ohio State. Prove me wrong. Until somebody does it, the stigma exists for a reason. Prove me wrong.
Hey, you know what they say? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Hey, Cleveland Browns. But I'll add this. I'll add this in there as well too. Is like, could we possibly see a Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes type situation, right? Or like we saw with the Chargers last year. You know what I mean? How they had their guy who was going to be starting, and then Herbert takes and comes in. You know what I'm saying? Randomly, you know, after accidental puncture lung was hunk of BS to me. But like, what are you guys' thoughts on it? Do you guys think it's a possibility that, like, hey, he could possibly start mid to late this year?
Oh, who? Fields?
Yeah, Justin Fields.
I got him starting by week 3 at the latest. I think Nagy and crew is going to have seen enough at the end of week 1. I mean, look, I'm trying not to be a homer. I'm just trying to be realistic. Yes, the Rams did lose Brandon Staley, and they lost a few pieces on their defense. Aaron Donald's still there. Jalen Ramsey's still there. I don't expect Darius Williams to take a step back. We got Troy Reader, Micah Kaiser. Say what you want about them, they're serviceable. I think Ernest Jones is going to be a problem. Sebastian Joseph-Day along the line is also going to be he's going to have a big season this year. Terrell Burgess back from injury. He was coming into his own right before he messed up his ankle. Jordan Fuller, also another monster. We're going to probably move Robert Rochelle down into the slot for cornerback. like this is a no slouch defense. And I think it's not like they're going to be the number one defense in the league again. I don't believe that. I think they're going to take a slide back. But I definitely
talking about the
Rams.
Okay.
The Rams. But they're going to be a very high caliber, I would say top 10 defense this year.
Okay.
I think they're going to see everything that they need, that they're going to need to see from Andy Dalton in this matchup to say, hey, no more. I'd rather run with my young guy, especially with my job on the line, because you can't make me believe that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's behinds are not on the line right now. The fans are going to be tired of it. The first interception Andy Dalton throws, the first bad pass that he throws, the fans are going to be screaming for Justin Fields. Yeah. Like I said, they just endured Mitch Trubisky. They just endured this whole mess last season. They want to see win. They want to see results. They want to see something exciting. And I'm not certain that Justin Fields can do that, but he's new, and shiny things always are better than the old ones you have, at least temporarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Andy Dalton, man, Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. It's just like, we know what he is. He's a low, very, very low end starting quarterback, like in that 27 to 35 range, or I think a serviceable backup, or a bridge quarterback, which is what I think they're going to do. Like to your point, I think there's no way on God's green earth Andy Dalton will either A, stay healthy the whole season, or B, won't lose his job to Justin Fields.
That part.
If you're lighting up players in practice, if the backup comes in and he's playing better than the starter in practice, and players say that every day, there's only so much time before they're going to be banging on some doors to get that kid in the game. And I really would like to see, man, that connection. They got a few serviceable tight ends for sure. They drafted, I forgot his name, not this past draft, but the previous draft with their first pick. Big tight end, quick. He's like 6'6", up the middle. Him, and then having Allen Robinson, man, if I was them, I would throw Justin Fields. Whoever Allen Robinson liked the best, that's who would be my quarterback, because they want him to sign a long-term deal, and he's an elite receiver. So, man, I would do whatever I could. But there's no way.
Oh, guy's name Cole Kmet.
Yeah, Cole Kmet. Thank you. That's right. There's no way Andy Dalton's going to finish the season as a starter. Like, I mean, I think that would be the safest bet. Now, when is the question, but I don't know. I don't know when he's going to lose his job, but he's definitely going to lose it.
And what I find interesting about the whole QB situation in Chicago is that even though Nick Foles is on that roster, Matt Nagy has been adamant that he is QB3 with no chance to become QB2.
Yep.
Dang. Well, I'll say this too, is that the Bears, that they're in a real interesting spot right now, because there's the Aaron Rodgers issues currently happening over in Green Bay. You know what I mean? Also as well, you got Detroit there, and it's the R word everybody's scared of, rebuild mode, so there's a lot of and then of course you got the Bears, and the Bears, they still got a squad, they still got a super dope defense, they still got offensive weapons. Can they win the division? I can't really say for certain, but I'll probably still give it to Green Bay, because I could imagine Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. But man, Justin Fields is a game changer. When do you start him? Do you start him week 5? Do you start him week 1? Do you wait till like week 12? Or do you wait till the very end of the season? It's going to be really, really interesting.
Doug, no one's talking about it, man, but we do have that extended season for the first time this year. We have that extra game.
17. Yeah.
And, it's going to be an endurance check too. Mm-hmm. I think when I look at the Bears situation, I think about Colin Kaepernick coming in for the 49ers, right, when Alex Smith was there. Yeah. And, they went on that run through the NFC, all the way through the NFC championship, and then ultimately ended up losing to Baltimore, right, and in the Super Bowl. But Colin didn't play like that entire season. He really just played like the last 2 games and then carried them through the playoffs into the Super Bowl. So going into the next season, everybody had these questions about Colin, like, what's his durability going to be like? Sure, he played phenomenally down the stretch, but it's one thing to play on fresh legs. It's another thing to go play in the playoffs after playing 17 weeks of football, maintaining the little hits and the nicks that come with that, the bumps and the bruises. For me, I want to see what kind of guy that I have under center. If Justin Fields is on my squad, and I think that's him, like I said, week 3 at the latest, I expect Andy to blow it and Justin Fields to come in. Let that man get his feet wet. Let him go ahead and, he's going to drop a couple. He's a rookie. That's what's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. But if he's really as good as they say he's going to be,
Yeah.
Let him come in early so that way he has his legs up under him if you guys are going to attempt to make a postseason berth.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movement.